Hello, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Big Rig Banter. This is another one of the weeks where Albert's not feeling well or whatever reason he gave this week. So I had to go kidnap someone off of our yard to bring on the show. So hopefully you guys will find him entertaining. I'm sure we'll see. So let's go ahead and roll the intro, and we'll be right back. All right, so like I said, I'm here all by myself. So I guess it might be time to start recruiting for a new co-host. I don't know. Let me know. So I'm going to introduce you to Carl here. He's our safety director here at Bowerman Trucking, and so he was out here lost out in the yard. So I decided to go ahead and kidnap him and bring him on the show and see how that works out. I did have some topics pre-set up, but they're not going to work out now because Albert's in charge of our training, so for the show or for the competition, so we were going to talk on some talking points and introducing that, but unfortunately some of us don't like to show up for work. He's blaming his grandkids or some crap. So well, your safety here at Bowerman, and you said that you did drive for a little while. What, 2 years you said?
Yeah, 2 years.
In flatbed?
Flatbed and day cab.
How long ago was that? Was that here in Arkansas, or?
It was 2007
Wow.
and 2008.
So after 2 years, you're just like, I'm done. I don't want to do this no more, or it just wasn't for you?
You darn right.
So
Welcome to trucking.
So if the driving the truck wasn't for you, why did you come back to want to do like safety and whatnot?
Well, honestly, I didn't know that I wanted to be.
Oh, okay,
into
that's right.
safety.
Because you hired on with us originally as for dispatch, right?
For operations, yes.
Right. Oh, excuse me, operations. Because you don't want to be associated with all them dispatch memes.
Hey, I could be a dispatcher. That's fine. So
what brought you back in the first place? If trucking wasn't for you and you got out, was there like you got out in 2009 and you decided to do something, and what brought you back to trucking?
My daddy, John Benefield.
Why does that name sound familiar?
He used to work here. He worked here
Okay.
for, since 2007.
Was he one of our drivers?
He was.
That does sound familiar.
Medically retired to 2023 this year.
Oh wow!
Past year.
So how long did he work for us?
Since 2007, I believe.
Well, I started in 2009.
No, I'm sorry. He quit for 4 to 5 years and then came back.
Oh, okay.
No.
So did he hire on with us while we were still in Judsonia?
No, it was right after y'all moved over.
Okay.
Like literally right after, I believe. That was 2007, wasn't it?
No, I started here at Bowerman in 2009.
Oh.
Yeah.
Maybe it was 13 I'm thinking of. Maybe he started in 13.
Okay. Yeah, because we were in Judd for...
Yeah, that's right.
3 years?
It was 13 is when he started this company. Yeah.
And so he just recently retired last year?
Last year, medically.
Huh.
Young guy,
Right.
but had some health issues.
A young guy? You said he was your daddy?
Yeah.
He's young.
I'm only 20.
Right. Yeah. I just turned 26.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
I
You look the part.
I shape my head like this on purpose. I want to make I'm trying to appear older.
Aerodynamics.
There you go.
Yeah.
Except for I got a little drag on the sides, but we'll have to take care of that another day. It's getting to the point where it's too cold for that now.
But no, my daddy worked for this company, and he said you should go talk to the Bowermans.
Right.
So I just happened to walk in one day. It was around right before lunchtime, and Matt came walking in behind me and said, "Can I help you?" And I said, "Yeah, I want a job." It was so informal. I didn't know who he was.
Nothing against Matt or anything else, but yeah, that he was going further back. He was always like that. If he's seen someone that had come in that he's never seen before, what do you want? It's like, why are you here? And so he was always, even in Judsonia, his office was right there, so you always were able to see and talk to him. But And Jacob, you see him every once in a while, but both of them kind of become recluses, hiding back there. Unless you know where they're at, you're not going to find them. Like, if you don't know where Matt's office is, we're not going to broadcast there just in case there's drivers that don't know where he's at yet. And so, you can pay me some hush money.
But when I walked in the door, I said, I want a job in trucking. I want out of where I'm at.
What were you doing?
I was being a truck driver at night for a company called Ozark Mud and Chemical.
Oh, so you're like just like the little box trucks delivering chemicals or something, or?
No, sir, flatbed.
Oh.
Yeah. We were pulling.
But you said you started in 2009 and you drove for like 2 years.
2 years.
You didn't come here in 2009.
No. So 2 years back in 2007 and 2008.
Right.
I quit them, became a retail store manager for a Hayes clothing company here in town.
Oh, okay.
And then I started back with that company, working nights.
So a total of 2 years, just split.
Total of
Gotcha,
2 years
gotcha.
split, yeah. So, and then I didn't want to do that truck driving stuff anymore. I wanted to do something other than retail or drive a truck.
But did you leave Hayes because they just like to overprice everything?
No, it was the 140-hour work weeks.
Really?
Oh, man.
What were you, like
miserable.
management or something? Or?
Yes.
Oh, wow, no.
Yeah, yeah. Before the doors open, well after the doors were closed.
Yeah.
Every day. And they were
So did you work in
7 to
Cersei or did you work at the store in Judsonia?
Cersei. Yeah. I
'Cause
helped
that
them
used to
open that
be-
big store.
It used to be Goodies. Yeah.
Goodies, yeah.
Yeah, and Goodies was that place here in Cersei where all the high schoolers would go and park their trucks and play their music and everything else.
Yeah.
And so they don't really have a place for that, to kind of do that. Do they still do that over there?
I think it's Walmart now.
So they just blend. Now they really blend
I
in.
don't know.
They all look the same.
Yeah. They all squat.
And so what? We were like, we have a spot in dispatch, or did they offer you different positions?
Yeah. So I said, my dad, John, referred me to come talk to you. Here's what I've done. Where could you use me? I don't know anything about trucking other to get to point A to point B.
I was just one of the grunts.
It was paper logs. It was
Oh, yeah.
fun time.
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't that
And
long ago.
I had a dedicated route, Wheeling, West Virginia and back.
Right.
That was it.
Oh, so you just pencil up all your logs for the next couple of weeks in advance.
I did. I sure did. I did.
It was a different time.
I didn't care about safety back then.
Well, safety is less than, the whole hours of operation, I think, is totally stupid. You may or may not agree. I mean, I know there's a reason for it, because especially some of these newer drivers that come out here just don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, as I mentioned previously. And I think the hours of service and some of the other, like, regulations like that are meant for those who need guidance. You need that tutor, because some people just will drive until they fall asleep at the wheel because, I don't know, maybe they're, for whatever reason. But before all that, I have to go back and do some research. Maybe you have, as far as safety, what incidents were like before electronic logs, and people just, I can't cheat my logs no more, so I have to stop. I mean, do you think incidents are less than what they are more often now that there's all these additional regulations? Or do you think when people were running multiple logbooks were wise enough to stop when they knew they needed to get some rest, or when they did feel tired, they didn't want to fall asleep behind the wheel or whatever? Do you think it was more common then or now for those type of incidents?
It's about the same.
Really?
Yes.
So all the additional regulations and making people stop after 11 hours of driving, and forced to have a computer in the truck that says you can't drive no more, it's no different?
Okay. Now, let me clarify.
Okay.
Okay. Back in the day, there was a thing called common sense that existed. Okay. But the more reasons for incidents back in the day were drug related.
True. Yeah.
Okay. Drug or alcohol related incidents back in the day. Common sense was a big part. We're a different generation these days. Okay. So with these regulations and the new technology, right? Because if everybody did what they're supposed to do, none of this stuff would have existed, right? Surgeon General warnings, Okay, but for trucking.
Oh, the joke that, hey, I know how to fix all the population problems. Just remove the warning labels off of everything. Just let the problem sort itself
out.
Yeah, the drug thing, yeah, I agree with that, because that any old school trucker, someone in their 50s or 60s that might be still driving now, if you run into them, they usually have the same kind of story. We used to run multiple logbooks. We'd have this high-paying load that the boss needed to get done, so they pick their favorite driver out of the fleet, hand them a paper sack with a wad of cash and a baggie of dope, and said, go. They won't tell you what's in the bag. They'll just hand you the bag and say, we need this, sir, yesterday. And so I think his name was, we'll call him Bear. I can't remember what his real name, but he has the nickname Bear. He would tell stories about that first time it happened to him, he was like, okay, I don't know if I can. He looks in the bag, I'll get it there. And I've met a lot of drivers that are like that, old school drivers, 50s and 60s. They're like, yeah, that's just how it was. We stopped when we had to. If we're going to stop somewhere, most of the rest that a lot of them got, I think, were in the restaurants, because there was a lot more restaurants where you could sit down and eat. There were still delis where you can grab and go, but all those places were able to stop and sit down and have a meal, a hot meal. Those are like their rest periods. Their time to sit down, relax, bullshit, pinch the waitress's butt, whatever the case may be. and a lot of that changed right after the pandemic, though. A lot of it. I mean, the last of it. I won't say a lot of it. We'll say the last of it. Flying J started shutting down their restaurants. TA shut down their restaurants, and now we have crap options. But
yeah, our world is different.
Definitely. And so, how does that affect the whole safety aspect of trucking? Is it made it worse or better?
Hasn't really. There's no significant impact from COVID with safety other than personal care. So, truck stops, you share showers, they're supposed to clean them, things like that. Actually, truck drivers are pretty isolated.
Oh, yeah.
So it didn't have a large impact on a personal. It was shippers and receivers and truck stops that were the issues.
I do know that one of the things I remember coming across as far as shippers and receivers that have been greatly affected was detention. They're pushing for a new regulation for detention because it affects safety, for one, because if you're in a dock for several hours and they still need that there at the delivery yesterday, well, a lot of drivers might feel compelled or feel like overly obligated to get it done because I don't know, maybe I'm a crap driver if I can't do my job, or if I can't prove that I can get it done, or they have something to prove. That super trucker is a term that was thrown around a lot that was really disliked here at Bowerman. They're like, we don't like using that because that implies that they're just going to go not just above and beyond, but into the red, into the no zones, and breaking hours of service, getting violations, violating theirs and other four-wheeler safety. So, but in the drug thing, they're actually going to working on new tests for drug testing.
Yes.
Because what they're fighting a lot now, from what I read, was there's so many ways of cheating on a urinalysis. And so they're working on saliva tests now. So no longer, I have to go drink some extra water because I just peed 5 minutes ago, blah, blah, blah. And, well, they could be doing other prep stuff in order to help cheat their urinalysis. Well, saliva, don't eat or drink anything for 20 minutes and we're going to swab your cheek. Spit in this cup or whatever.
There's a lot of new testing ideas out there.
It's not passed yet, but that's one of the things they're looking at.
Saliva testing, of course, hair follicle testing. There's blood testing, prick tests, fingertip prick tests. Even fingernail clippings.
Well, see, all those, the hair and nail, I don't think they really have a place in trucking, just because your hair only grows so long. So if you're actively high, it hasn't gone outside of your scalp or whatever, the clippings and everything else. It's not available. Yeah, they can scrape the top, but this right here, the white part of your nail, that's like maybe a month's worth of growth, or maybe 2 weeks worth of growth.
Maybe less, yeah.
And so, but the part that they're wanting to test to see if you were high this last week is not available for them to scrape yet. That, if they don't keep track of what part of the nail is actually tested, you could test positive for something you did a year ago. You know, if you got clean and before you went to drive, whatever, you fucked up. You were in a room with a bunch of friends who were smoking pot or whatever.
Yeah.
You ate a poppy seed muffin.
That's why they're not a thing yet.
And so,
because they're still fine-tuning things.
But I can see the blood test being a thing. And I just heard about the whole saliva thing yesterday when I was doing research for topics. And I was like, wow.
It's pretty new. I mean, the talk has been around, but it's like, actively being pursued now.
They would definitely have to have a person sit there and wait for it, not eat or drink anything, including water, for like 20 minutes, because anything you've recently eaten or drank can contaminate that test. I mean, I don't know what other chemicals that are in our beverages, like Cokes or whatever, that might, mix with that piece of ham sandwich you had earlier, if it might read as something else. But it's just like the DNA test, like 23andMe, they tell you not to eat or drink anything for 30 minutes. That way it doesn't contaminate the results.
Maybe that's why mine got messed up.
To come back, you're part porcine.
1% Congo African, the rest was British.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I don't think that's a problem. I mean,
that was it. There was only two things.
There was
literally.
We found that I always thought I had more Irish in me. See, this is how I was telling about the show. Just squirrel. I thought I had more Irish in me than I actually did, and my wife thought she had more British or something than what she had, and it was the exact opposite. And we have like 0.002 African. And I'm like, great, we got black in us. That's not a jab. That's not a jab. All those people that, I think it'd be fun to watch the KKK take a bunch of 23andMe.
I really think that everyone has that African in them.
Scientists have proved over and over again that, Africa is like the, what do they call it? The cradle of life.
The cradle of life.
So,
yeah.
Another thing that they're going to be passing that they finalized for, I think August last year, they're probably going to vote on it or push it forward sometime this year, is mandatory speed limiters on trucks. They're looking at 68 miles an hour, which we're already ahead of the game on that.
Which, that's been in talk since early 2000s.
Yeah, but they keep raising the speed limit everywhere. I'm like, 67 used to be, 70 for cars, 65 for trucks. Now it's 70 for trucks and 75 for cars. No. I mean, how do you feel about the whole mandatory speed limiters?
It honestly, it doesn't bother me none. From obviously a safety standpoint, right? The slower you go, the less chances of an accident with a speed limit factor. Okay?
Right. I can see, there's a time and place for everything. Like, there's a reason why if you get past, Abilene, Texas, the speed limit starts going up to 80 or 85, because there's nothing.
Nothing.
There's nothing
Panhandle
out there.
of Texas. Nothing.
And so, I think there's a couple of parts in New Mexico maybe that might be 80. I don't remember. I know there are up there in North and South Dakota.
Didn't Texas on 30 used to be, or was it 35? Used to be 80?
I don't know, but I do know. I don't remember when it happened. You blinked, and if you blinked, you missed it. They used to have a nighttime speed limit, 65 miles an hour.
Maybe that's what
it was 65 throughout the state, regardless of what the current speed limit was. Trucks, 65 if the sun's down, after sunset. It's like the headlight rule. 30 minutes after sunset, 30 minutes after sunrise. It's 65.
I knew they had something weird going on.
Or if you have your headlights on, 65. And so, yeah, I remember that. That didn't change that long ago. Maybe 6 years ago, 5-6 years ago, something like that. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know. I've slept since then. So much. Every time you blink, something else has changed, and someone's like, "Oh no, that was back 20 years ago." What? The crap. Same thing happens when I've listened to the radio, classic rock station, and start playing 90s music like Third Eye Blind. I'm like, this isn't classic rock or old on all these stations. I'm like, well, shut up. You go to hell. That's not oldies, man.
What kind of music are you into?
I listen to a little bit of everything. And so, yeah, you. I mean, I rock, country, some opera.
I'm a big fan of Red Dirt Country, but I'm an 80s Hair Nation guy at heart.
Hell yeah. That's a good music back in the day, man.
Yes, it is.
And people will be dropping
Those
like
power rock
flies.
ballads.
Hell yeah. Man, people this last year have been dropping like flies. We lost some good people in 2023. It's like, damn. There's too many. I can't even think of one off the top of my head.
Yeah, there's so many.
And so I was like, damn. Man. So you did our operations for how long were you? Like a year?
A year and a half, almost 2.
And so then you decided to
find
something else to do, and you got into like working on trying to create back office software, right? Or you kind of played around with it a little bit, and then what? You got some incentive to focus on it more?
I got my hands into a lot of pots.
Not that kind of pot.
Yeah, not that kind of pot.
We're in Arkansas. This is California.
I was helping local companies around Arkansas expand into the over-the-road division from being local, oil field mostly, and natural gas. They were wanting to, the natural gas industry was dying down in 2013 here in Arkansas. So they were looking for new business ventures. And so one referral after another, I had 4 or 5 different local oil and gas companies wanting help with over-the-road dispatching. They didn't understand that world.
Right.
So, and I was hopping.
So you took what you knew from your driving experience and from being in operations to try to apply it.
And try to apply it for them. Yes. And it became a success.
Right.
Became a success. I started my own little operation called Hammer Down Dispatch. And did that for 2.5 years. After that, kind of failed. My market died down, some other issues. And the Bowerman safety position was open, and I was asked if I would like to give it a shot.
Now it's still at the middle yard. Why'd you leave the second time?
The second time I was chasing money.
Oh.
I went to Texas.
Oh, okay. I thought you were in Texas for your little...
No.
Huh.
No.
All right.
No.
So what?
Chased money down there, but the money was fine. It was great. It was wonderful. I love Texas. Love it. But
no one's out to get you, dude. It's all right.
Family's here.
Right.
Family's here. And so I decided money's not important. Family is.
Particularly your son, though, right? Yeah. How old is he now?
I got tired driving on the weekends.
How old is he now?
12. Fixing to be 12.
Okay. I felt like he was older. Because I remember when I started, Ava, Matt's daughter, his daughter, was, God, just a little thing. If you blink, she'd like, if someone's out at lunch in the dispatch office, she'd be in there. I'm like, your kid, get your kid. She's booking loads over here unintentionally. And so Matt, we try to even set up a second monitor and give her a keyboard, but she was not an idiot. God, she was young. She must have been like maybe 3, 4, something like that. Yeah, just a little brat. She's always into everything. But yeah, she was no idiot. She'd be sitting there on the keyboard we set up, and she's like, nothing's appearing on the screen. She said, I don't want to use this keyboard. It's broken. She wasn't an idiot. So we had to find another, I think he bought an old laptop or something, pulled up the spreadsheet, and she could type all she wants. But and then now she's huge. Like, what the hell happened? All the kids get, it's like, Matt, I remember when your kid was like this big. What happened?
I know. I blinked, and here he is, 12, and he's not a daddy's boy anymore.
So when you came back to Arkansas, you didn't immediately come back to Bowerman. You've only been back for maybe a year?
No, I tried. I did.
We should have a spot for you?
Just didn't have a spot for me.
Really?
But I said, I'll be up here when you're ready.
So what'd you do in the meantime?
So I was working for S&L.
Oh, okay.
Distribution as a terminal manager.
Oh.
Yeah. Flowers, food.
Right.
Dealing with their shipping. That type of thing.
Wow.
It was a fun gig.
And so we just needed an assistant recruiter when we called you.
No, so at the time, y'all were expanding with the trucks and got a lot
Right.
of new trucks in,
Mhm.
left a lot of empty trucks open. They said, hey, if you can help us fill these up, we'll look at our safety director is going to be leaving us. And when
Right.
he leaves, trucks filled, we'll enroll you back into that role.
I don't know how many of these shows you've watched. There's one of them. I was like, she's like, Albert asked me, so what are you gonna do when you get out of the truck? I said, well, first thing I got to do is either get you or Carl fired. And so there was because Gary, when he was here, I think he's one of the one of the best safety directors we've had, as far as trying to get everybody more and more involved, and he was really good at that. And he was in the process of like building Albert up and I to be like mentors before the whole mentor program officially started. Take the lead, do this and that, get more involved. And because of him, I helped with all the planning and everything for the Special Olympics convoy, trying to get all the drivers together. Let's meet up. Let's talk strategy, all this and that. Talk with the film people that are recording everything. I haven't seen any. Never mind. Take it back. Some of the footage I've seen them shoot, I haven't seen, so they didn't use it all, which is unfortunate. But
I haven't seen any of it. I'd like to, though.
they posted the little video. I saw they filmed us walking out to the trucks, and I was just thinking, oh, that'd be kind of cool. They should brought some little firework fountains, little spark showers or something.
shows.
Yeah, and then have us like all walk in step to the trucks, and with
Slow-mo.
with the focus changed a little bit to create more bokeh behind us from all the fireworks. I'm like that would have been pretty cool. But he just kind of, he wasn't aggressive, but he was a quiet pusher. You didn't realize he was pushing you in a direction until you're like, I didn't care about this crap before. What the hell's going on? And so then when he left, I was like, oh, what the hell? So after he left, I was very interested in like, I can do safety. I don't want to do dispatch. I don't want this, at least in safety. Yeah, you have to hold a few hands, but dispatch, oh my god,
24 hours a day.
been there, done that. I was like, really? You know where you're going, dude. Just go. I can't make it. I don't have the towers. Why? Just email us. Let us know. Hey, I ran out of time. Whatever. And there's some of our drivers that would call you constantly and just like, what am I doing next? The same thing you were doing before you called. Like, you have all your information.
I've literally had people call me asking how many hours they get tomorrow morning at midnight.
Why don't you just wait? And set
No, just wait. Just look at your screen.
Well, unless they've been running a split, it won't tell them how much time they're actually getting back. It's one of those things that people know that I've bugged them. It's like, hey, this is useful if you put it on there all the time. Like, it'll tell you what time you're getting stuff back, but it doesn't tell you how much. Like, there's the split has always been really crazy. Like, sometimes I think I should be getting like 5 hours back. Then when that time comes, I have 8 hours. Cool. I didn't know that. Where the hell did the other 3 hours come from? Or the opposite is true. I think I should have like 5 hours after my split. You have 30 minutes. What the crap? So, but I always know what time. It'd be nice to know exactly what the hours will look like when it says, hey, more time will be available at 7 hours from whatever time. At this time, you'll have some time back. It's not a full-time hour break, but you have some time back. Well, how much time will I get back? Should I set my alarm and look?
Yeah.
That would be helpful. And I've heard we're going to be looking at a new system. Isaac?
Okay, I was going to ask you, how do you feel about this company currently uses PeopleNet? How do you feel about EOD brands, and have you had any other experiences?
No other experience. I only ever used PeopleNet. Ever since they were on Windows CE, those old, I think it was version 5. Oh, they were so slow. And then we got the first Android tablets. I'm like, oh, cool, Android. But it wasn't snappy. The Samsung ones we have now are nice. So, but I don't know. I looked at their website and kind of, it's like trying to pull teeth, trying to find more information on it. I haven't done a lot of digging on it, but it sounds interesting.
I mean, so you're talking about the new EOD that this company is going to.
They're looking at, yeah.
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 We're not looking at it. It's a done deal.
Okay.
It's called Isaac.
Right.
ISAAC.
Right.
Okay.
Two
They're a
ways.
Canadian company. They started out in Formula One cars, and they're all about
That is an interesting shift.
Yes. Yeah. So into racing, all aspects, dirt racing, Formula One, mostly. That was primarily, they're huge in that market. Isaac is.
Right.
So they got into the trucking industry, and it started out pulling data, engine data, building those coding sheets and all the data, all that good stuff, putting it all together. And then they got into the ELD market, and it's just massively blown up.
Wow.
So like Walmart Canada, exclusive.
Wow. Right on.
Heartland Express just signed with them.
Right out of Oklahoma or Texas?
The Heartland Express, the main Heartland Express
Right.
out of Ohio. I thought it
Oh,
was
out of Ohio? Okay.
I thought it was.
I guess I associated it with Oklahoma because there's a heart in their logo, and Loves is Oklahoma. And so,
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they're Ohio or somewhere in the Midwest.
I think as long as they implement the hours of service correctly, well, that's simple math, but I meant like making sure the additional information is available to the driver. Like, if I do a split, is it going to be worth it? How much time do I get back? Well, if that information is regularly available without the driver having to set an alarm, cool. That's minor on the PeopleNet. I think the biggest thing that a lot of drivers have problems now is workflow, because it's not just the workflow app. It splits it into two segments, messaging.
Yeah.
And so they work together and they have to be used together, which is kind of annoying.
Yeah, like a manual and automated.
And so, well,
way. Yeah.
like the workflow is for the most part automated. You can see bare bones what the address and maybe a pickup number and under the workflow stops. And that's all well and good, but the messaging portion comes to play when your trailer information. The workflow will automatically depart you after you get about a mile and a half away. It'll automatically depart you. But if you forget to hit send on messaging, it will bug you all day long until you hit send. I think if they were incorporated, because if they don't depart properly, it messes all the timings up. And so I think that's where a lot of drivers
That's
have
going to be
problems.
the cool thing about Isaac. It's all integrated on one screen.
That'd be nice. So what about the paperwork?
All integrated on one screen. It's going to ask you for a shot of the paperwork.
Cool. I remember,
It's going to smooth out the process.
see, that's where when
Simple.
some of our staff departs, you can definitely tell when certain staff has departed from the company. Like, she used to handle all the billing stuff. We knew who. It was kind of like the safety list that Albert puts out every week. All right, who's not doing their job this week? Oh, look, he hasn't done his paperwork. It's like 3 days old. But I've noticed I haven't really been staying on top of it.
On what?
On getting paperwork sent in to the office.
We haven't had near as many issues lately.
Well, you would think after her departure, everyone just got all their crap together, and I know that's not the case.
Oh, it's dramatically has changed.
Because she was on top of it all the time. Every day, she'd be like, hey, I'm still missing paper from you, and you. Mm-hmm. But now
it's gotten way better because a lot of things weren't working within those retrieval apps, Logics. And so a lot of that got fine-tuned, and a lot of those same repetitive people that were having trouble turning in their paperwork or claiming they were are now not having that problem.
Well, I've met a couple of drivers that have really old phones, so I'm kind of curious to see if they fix their problems, because I looked at one last week and I was like, oh, this ain't going to work.
Yeah, those cheap pay-as-you-go Walmart phones.
You need a
don't
new
work very
phone.
well.
You need a new phone. So.
And it's all based on memory.
So what is your goal now going forward, 2024, with being in safety? I mean, do you have other than getting this better ELD out here for better ELDs to make things easier for all kinds of drivers? What other goals do you have planned for this year for our safety?
I can't tell you all my secrets.
Well, we're not asking for your secrets. I mean, do you have? I mean,
No, it's better driver training. Continuous education.
So, okay, so what you guys have already started with the orientation, the whole driving testing out here, which finally came back. I don't know why it was her kicked out. We always did a driver test.
Yes, we did.
Before we signed the final paperwork. Has a lot of that helped? I mean, I know that Daryl made a joke about all of Albert's clones.
Yeah.
So
Replicator Award. He won the Replicator Award.
And so obviously that's helping out quite a bit. But the whole doing the driving test, seeing their skills test, do you think that's making driving huge?
Huge difference. And let me tell you why.
How many have been excluded because they couldn't drive through the obstacle course?
Two.
So, okay, you guys are like saying, no, maybe not.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah,
So.
2 and another 2 put on, let's go ahead and put you on probation.
Right.
And see how you go from there.
Keep them closer.
Keep them closer.
I don't know how well that's going to work in the next couple
Let's
of
put
months.
it this way. I haven't drove since 12, 13 years ago.
Right.
And
Well,
I was able to
how'd you
complete
do?
the course.
How'd you do? You complete?
Fantastic. Let's go right now. Mr. Albert, having years of experience, passed it no problem. So, and we've unfortunately had people that did not pass the road course.
Wow.
So,
What we used to do, I don't know, you may have heard this, when we were in Judsonia, Pam was our safety director, and
I remember Pam.
she would take drivers and we'd drive to Bald Knob. She'd have them turn into the Exxon station, because when you come in, it's kind of a sharp turn to get lined up with the fuel on. The fuel on at that Exxon, the lanes are a little bit narrower than most truck stops. So, like, if you can make that turn, get in there and not hit anything, we think we'll be all right. I think that worked pretty well for us for a while, but then at some point they just stopped doing road tests during the hiring process. But that's good that they brought it back. So
Yeah, well, back in 18 and 19, I did the road test. It was in-town road test. I still have the maps and everything of where you go, what turns, why we take those turns, etc. It was about 14 miles total.
jeez.
Yeah.
You think about setting up another course like that afterward? Let's see
coming.
Let's see how you maneuver. Then let's go out here and just see what you do.
So basically,
Okay.
based on this company's incidents, right? Most incidents that this company has ever had a problem with is parking lots. Struck stationary object, or another person ran into them, and it's all
just look at our yard.
mostly passenger related or backing related. And that's what our course is designed for, is passenger related incidents.
Damn it, I had a good question. I can't remember what it was.
I apologize.
It's all right. Well,
But I'll tell you this, what we have found out is that since we started this program back in September, we've had fewer incidents from the comparative year priors since we started this.
that's good.
So last quarter of the year has been very limited in comparison. I'm talking like 30 to 45% drop in incident rate
that's good.
with new hires. But where we're having where we're having the most problem is complacency with the guys that's been doing it for quite some time.
They're stuck in a group, stuck in their own niche.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, I think I'd fall in that category.
Habits. We're creatures of habits.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, there's like the driver eye thing, and then the fuel mileage and the idle time are just three of the aspects that we look at. And I don't know. I mean, I haven't broken anything. I don't have any violations. Every inspection that I've had, it's always passed. In fact, I just wrote up another tire the other day that I had dropped somewhere. It was low. I had it filled up, sprayed it down with soapy water at the Loves, and they didn't find any leaks. I'm like, okay, we'll just watch it. Didn't find any objects anywhere in the tread. Who knows? But all these things, knowing that I'm just doing the same thing I've always done for the most part, it's a little frustrating not to see yourself on that driver eye. Like, there's just the way it calculates things. I think it's not great, but I think those things right there create a natural competitive nature in people that cause them to try to do better. Kind of what the competition did. When we were up to Rogers the first year, afterwards, like the next 4 or 5 months, it was just like you have a a different mindset. You look at your job differently, different safety aspects and everything. So,
yeah.
But I think those little things, those little mini rewards and acknowledgments do well. Some may disagree.
Well, we sent out that survey here a while back. What's more important to you? Is it, is it recognition in the company? Is it pay increases? Or is it job placement or other? Right?
Yes.
And the majority have spoken, it's recognition.
Right. See, that's a tough too, because when we have our little parties and everything, the biggest complaint that I've heard is like, oh, these 5 or 6 drivers are going to collect everything. And I'm fortunate because the one reward I get, because of where it's at, I know I'm going to keep getting it, because unless someone suddenly drives 300,000 miles in a year, you're not catching up. So that number is just going to keep growing as long as I keep doing what I've always been done.
And you should be proud of it.
And so, but all the other awards, there's been a lot of like, same goddamn people, I don't even know why I show up. What's the point? These 5 people are going to get all the rewards. And I've thought a lot about what other types of acknowledgments that we could do to like recognize these other individuals, because, well, they might not have a good, 256, one of my other trucks, had its own problems, had fuel mileage problems, DEF issues that would always happen. So it's going to affect fuel mileage. So anyone who's in that truck is going to have those same issues. So they won't get that miles per gallon thing. So I don't know. I'm always trying to think of other ways. I've tried to come up with a driver's choice award that kind of fell through, but I think that'd be neat.
Yeah, we need some good feedback, honestly, because we can't improve if we don't know.
Right. So
we can stick to the traditions, but you're exactly right. There is other opportunities for recognition out there.
We just got to figure out what fits us.
Yep.
And so,
absolutely. So let us know what your ideas are.
Big plans for this year, hopefully bigger and better. We got the competition coming up. Albert says we're going to do the convoy again. I think we should do something here in Searcy, because they do the Special Olympics here.
Yeah, we're going to do participate.
Matt wasn't really gun ho about wanting to do that, because that's Butch Rice's baby. And I'm like, well, he's in BB. We're actually in Searcy. So, I mean, I'm not saying we should step on anyone's toes, but trying to tread carefully on these individuals. But I think some of them are kids. Some of them are under the age of 18, under 15, that do stuff in the little Special Olympics. And if they're like any other kid I've ever met, they love trucks. So I think we don't have to bring a whole trailer up there. Man, I think it'd be neat to have one of our tractors up there,
just a different color.
And so, and just who doesn't like to toot the horn? Come on. So, yeah, but yeah, it'd be neat to get more involved. So, but we're running low here on time. So, but I want to thank you guys for tuning in and watching this week, listening if you're on Spotify, and thank our guest Carl here. So say hi, Carl. Say bye, Carl.
Well, hi, everyone. I appreciate your time. Thank you for inviting me, Chris.
Absolutely. It's been fun. So, and maybe next week our other host will get off his duff and show up on time for a change. So if you haven't already done so, be sure and click that subscribe button. Click the little bell icon to become part of our notification squad. And go ahead and thumbs up, like this video. And if you didn't like it, go ahead and thumbs down. Don't like it, that's fine. That's your choice. But if you do so, please sure to let us know in the comment section below. Also, if you have any comments or suggestions or ideas for future shows, let us know in the comment section below. And until next week, be careful, be safe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.